Good evening, everybody. Welcome to EduTALK. And this is a Thanksgiving special. It's Thanksgiving, and we want to make sure that we get in touch with everybody before you slice that turkey or eat that bacon or duck or whatever. It's turkey time, guys. It's turkey. For those duck lovers out there, it's still turkey time. And welcome to EduTalk. This is a Thanksgiving special. EduTalk is happening every week on a Tuesday because it's a special. It happens on a Wednesday. Now, we had EduTalk featuring research recently, but this is a special Thanksgiving. It's called Education, Family, and Thanksgiving. EduTalk features teachers, principals, business leaders, sometimes students too, who are thinking about where they're going and what they're involved in, and other people with expertise who share their expertise on critical topics facing education today with a common goal of moving education forward and our students upward. Now, this evening, a short discussion on education, family, and Thanksgiving. We have with us Miss Juliana Dyce and Miss Judy Villeneuve-Dyce. And we are coming to you live from New York. Yay! So let's get cracking here. This is sort of a nice fun time for families to get together around the turkey table with the cranberry sauce and a whole lot of juice, especially eggnog. It's eggnog season. And also, what's that thing called? Pumpkin spice latte and so on. So that's pretty nice to indulge in, along with do you call those muffins, different types of muffins to eat and cake and so on. And then right after this, we put up Christmas trees and the lights and so on. So this weekend, Wednesday to Friday, Saturday, is a nice time. Thanksgiving also offers the opportunity to get in touch with family, to think about our days and months away from each other, and to come together in a social setting, to share stories and also gather around a fire. We might not have a big fire because of the apartments in cities or wherever we are, but it was a big fire that we roast the turkey or bake it or jerk it or whatever we do with that turkey. We try to get it in our stomach around the tables filled with people, social people. And we don't get involved in politics or religion these days, but we talk about our children and we talk about our job sometimes if we get a promotion, and the opposite if we don't get a promotion. Still, we celebrate Thanksgiving. The history of Thanksgiving doesn't look so good when it started, but we celebrate it and we try to get the younger generation to understand that it's a period of giving thanks. Thanksgiving is a nice time for a lot of us. And Thanksgiving is not so much a nice time for some people because of the remnants of stories that they were told and what actually happened. So as we gather this time during Thanksgiving, it's a beautiful word, and we need to take caution about it and around it to make sure that the things we are involved in and the things we talk about and the perception that we give off is to make every effort to involve everybody around that big long table of saying thank you and thank God for everything. Juliana and Judy, tied together like sticks in one bundle of sticks. Stick one, stick two. Always Thanksgiving. Judy, can you share? And then we go to the kid. Thanksgiving, I know it's your favorite time of year. Let's go. Crack.
Yes, Thanksgiving is my favorite holiday. I like food a lot, and I also like having the family together at the table. I love decorating the table and making it very pretty for everybody and using candles and things like that in order to illuminate the table. And I love when everybody gets all dressed up and we show each other the love that we have for each other and we put ourselves together very well and we play nice music and we try different foods, and not just the traditional, turkey and thing like that, but pheasant, and like you said, duck, and all these different, I think we even are going to have crab cakes this year, if I recall correctly. We're going to have all different types of things to try.
Fine stuff.
And I love what you said about the conversation and having family together. And it's wonderful to have Juliana here, and we all get to eat and go for walks. And I mean, in this particular case, I try to make it an event that we'll always remember. So we're even going to go and see the Nutcracker ballet, while she's here, and just turn this into great memories. Thanksgiving is about being thankful about not just the food, but also about the people, and bringing you closer together and being appreciative because, obviously we don't always get along. We have issues, but at the same time, we always love each other. And I think Thanksgiving is a great way of reminding ourselves of that. What do you think, Juliana?
I kind of think that Thanksgiving is kind of a time to get everybody together and kind of think about what you guys have done together. Now, I kind of like the food because I love turkey. Um, and I kind of like trying new things. Sometimes the things aren't the best. They don't taste the best all the time, but they're kind of good sometimes. So I kind
Yeah.
of like Thanksgiving.
All right. So
And you,
let's start.
sorry.
Go on. Go on.
No, I was just gonna say that it's a really nice time of year too, temperature wise, because it's not freezing, it's not snow yet. You still have a lot of leaves changing colors, which is pretty. And in New York City, we don't have a whole lot of trees, but for the trees that do change colors, we have red and yellow and orange. It's very beautiful, and it's a nice place to go walking. And I know we'll be doing that this weekend as well, and going by the Hudson River and walking along the Hudson River and taking in the sights and seeing other families together. So it's nice.
All right. So in Jamaica, when I grew up in Jamaica, we didn't really celebrate Thanksgiving. And so there wasn't any festivity around the last couple of days of November where we're giving thanks, the fall harvest and so on. But we did have harvest when I was growing up. They still do harvesting in churches or in little towns where they harvest crops and so on, and they celebrate. Not on this large scale where people book flights and so on and go home and celebrate around a massive table of food. But we do celebrate. So on Sundays, it's kind of like Thanksgiving for us on Sundays, because Sunday is a nice big meal, rice and peas and fried chicken or curried goat or jerk pork or fried brown stew pork or something, But this nice get together with carrot juice. And at times you might bring out the best glasses to pour the carrot juice or some form of rum in there, and we celebrate, and then we have games together and so on. I don't know if the tradition is still happening, but it was a very fun time, and we look forward to it every Sunday afternoon to play football, what we call football, soccer, or we do ring games, hopscotch, and so on. And it was fun. So that's every time I hear the term Thanksgiving and for the celebration part of it and the food, I think of Sundays. And we actually give thanks on a Sunday more than any other day. If times are rough in the week, we always look forward to Sunday, where we sit at table and we eat and we crack jokes and we share a lot of joy and inspiration at the time. And we look back on the days gone by and so on, and people are getting older, and we talk about it, make fun of them a little bit, and so on. So that's what I think of. Juliana, you're the youngest Jamaican among us in America, Jamaican. And so you celebrate Thanksgiving in America a lot. What does it say to you when you celebrate Thanksgiving, separate and apart from the food? is there anything that we talk about at table, or whenever you sit together with people? What do you hear?
I usually hear like people trying to like say what they're thankful for, and they'll name a whole heap of things. And then like you can kind of tell that they're thankful for that because they keep on talking about it like throughout the week of Thanksgiving or like something like that. So that's kind of like all I kind of hear or
Yeah.
like, them
Okay.
talk about.
Yeah. All right. Thank you. Yeah, they normally talk about it a lot too. They're giving thanks quite a bit. Sometimes it gets a little bit annoying that they're voicing the thank you so much instead of just saying, I appreciate everybody. I really do. And because of that, I will not give you a big car or buy the biggest turkey, but I will be there for you. I will show up whenever you need an ear to listen. I'm right here. I'm all ears for you. Judy, how is it different based on what I just shared about Jamaican Thanksgiving, like Sunday giving? Is it kind of like the same way you grew up in America as a Jamaican?
My family is all Jamaican, so the memories that I have of my earliest Thanksgivings were in Queens with my grandmother and my grandfather, and they had, what is it? How many is that? Two, four, five kids. All of their kids had kids. I was one of them, obviously. And we had a huge Thanksgiving. We would all go up there and spend about 4 days. And it's like 12 rooms. Everybody had their own room to be in, and there's just lots of space. And obviously, being Jamaicans, they cook really well, so we'd have so much food. Oh my gosh! And I just remember um, looking forward to seeing my cousins, because they were spread all over the US and living in Texas and Virginia and just all over the place. And we'd all meet in Queens. And so that was a really wonderful time. And you get to see the tree was already up when we got there because they like to have the tree up and then the gifts were already there. And then we'd all come back for Christmas. But before, it was like the pre-party to Christmas, Thanksgiving, And so we would have our Jamaican Christmas carols. They love their Christmas carols in Jamaican, like the same exact American ones, but with a Jamaican rhythm under
Yeah,
it.
it's the Caribbean medley. It's the Caribbean
Yes,
medley of Christmas songs.
they love that,
It's on
and
YouTube.
yes. So in other words, they recreated Jamaica in the US. I mean, there were a lot of Jamaicans in Queens also. So across the street, all the neighbors, when they would come by to visit or bring a cake, because my grandfather was Cuban, but he grew up in Jamaica. And so he had a Jamaican accent and everything because he came young. He would actually make the black cake and pour all the rum on it. And then he would put the white icing on it. And he had so many. And every time somebody came over, obviously, because it was full of Jamaicans there, he would give them a cake. That was his gift. And he would give that at Thanksgiving and he would give it to them on Christmas.
Wow.
So I'm assuming that they brought their Jamaican tradition to the US and I was having a Jamaican experience. It never occurred to me that I was having an American experience because we didn't have necessarily traditional turkey. We had Jamaican food, but it was at Thanksgiving time. So we didn't have the American version of Thanksgiving, but obviously we were very thankful and we just enjoyed our own traditional country food.
Yeah. Juliana might not know this, but I think a lot of the food that we eat around Thanksgiving, it's Southern food. It's a lot of Southern food, like the collard greens and the bacon mixed with the collard greens, the potato pie and so on. It seems like those are Southern food. They're heavy starch food, like relating to Caribbean heavy starch food, and sweet. They're oily, deep fry, sweet stuff. It's nice. It's very nice. We're not talking about the healthy part of it, but it's sweet. So let's go on a different tangent here because apart from the food and the festivity, then we have what people don't even see in it for the most part is the education part of it, the social education part of it, how you're socialized. And you actually mentioned some parts of it, that you become socialized in the culture that was here. So it's a mixture of Caribbean and Jamaican education, social education, and socialization. So Juliana, I'm going to start with you because you're the student among, well, we're all lifelong learners here, but you're mostly in the K-12 system. Growing up, you're in 5th grade. What exactly can you learn from sitting and listening to adults talking about stuff at the table during Thanksgiving? What are some of the things that you think you could learn?
I kind of feel like I could learn about like different types of things, like different types of things and why you should be thankful for those things. Because usually I hear people talking about things that they're thankful for when I didn't even know what they were, you
Yeah,
know?
yeah.
And so they would be like, I love this. And I really wish that we could have this often. And then that would give me a chance to kind of ask a question to learn more about something that I didn't even know existed.
Mm-hmm. What about you see the things that your family values, like hard work, completion of work, taking care of yourself. Do you find that are the things that we believe in, going to church, taking care of community, building community among each other, building connection, sharing your whole self with your family members. Do you see that as part of the getting together?
I kind of feel like that is like community with like shows socializing. So I kind of feel like that connects to Thanksgiving because you're giving thanks for having people around, and so that's kind of like socializing. But like you're not really saying that, you kind of just like get the hint when you
Mhm,
say like
mhm.
something else relevant to it.
Yeah, yeah. Okay. Um, so Judy, the times we talk about Thanksgiving too and the history of Thanksgiving. When we look back on where it started, we won't get into it now because that some of it is very political. The areas of Thanksgiving beginning and what it means to some people. It does have a good feel to some people. And we understand. You understand that the other side of it, though, when you look at the concept of thanks and giving thanks, it's a very religious or spiritual thing where you ignore or forget about yourself for 1 minute and say, that has come to me, whatever has come to me in the form of goods or service is something that I personally might not have been worthy of, but I've gotten it. I've gotten all these wonderful things. I've gotten experience. I've gotten people in my life that have helped me. They really didn't have to help me at all, but they have helped me. And so let me forget about myself for once. Let me not talk about myself. Let's talk about these other people who have contributed to my upbringing, my life. And still, some of them are still contributing to my life. Is that how we look at it?
Who are you asking?
You.
Well, it's a very interesting concept because the society here, those people who are accustomed to having, the idea of thanks is a very foreign concept because to be really grateful, to be really thankful, you have to have been without something or known somebody who you cared about who had been without something. So the only time in a lot of traditional American families that they actually say thank you intentionally is during Thanksgiving. Other than that, the eating ritual is one where they're not necessarily grateful for because they assume that's what they should have. So what is nice about Thanksgiving, honestly, is the fact that it forces through culture a moment of reflection about what it is to be thankful. Even if it's an abstract concept, it's at least an opportunity to practice or to consider what that might mean. And I think that that's very important as far as culture. I know for me, the experiences that I've had about around Thanksgiving and with family is that I'm thankful for those family members that I had an opportunity to be with during that time because a lot of them have passed away. All my grandparents have passed away. Some of my grandparents' kids have passed away. You know, I still know their kids. We're all grown up. We have kids of our own. And unfortunately, the busier we are, the less we make time to pull those big families together. So you end up having these little get-togethers here and there, and everybody's doing it somewhere different. I am grateful to having those moments back then where the entire family would travel from all over to come together. And I think it's very important to try to retain that tradition as much as possible because the value of it, understanding yourself, understanding your culture, for me, understanding my language, the way that people speak, how they express themselves, the older people, to learn from their wisdom, all of those things were such a value. And Thanksgiving created that opportunity.
Okay. All right. So that's a part of the education, the social education that people will get. But it's also a time to reflect on history. And it's funny how you said that it's if you have to be without to be thankful for something, or being without something and be truly like understanding the lack of, then coming into a space where you realize that, oh, I was without this thing and now I have it, so I need to be thankful for it. I never see that concept before in that manner. Usually I think that people who are around other people who are without and they try to help them. For example, if you're around people who always have, and then another set of people growing up in the same community like Manhattan, you have a lot of projects around Manhattan, and rich people right across the road, you have $1 million house, and the project is right there across on the next side of the street, the same street. So you would think that, you know, the overlapping of socioeconomic situation will cause people to think and say, okay, I'm on the other side of the street and I think the grass is green over here. I need to be thankful for this grass, figuratively speaking, because it could have been worse, you know. Whereas the people who are across in the projects and so on will say, oh, I got this turkey from the school and so on, because they give out turkeys in America right across the board. They give a lot of turkeys out to people, to families. So they would say, thank you so much for this turkey. I'm glad I'm sitting around this table with it. But I'm assuming that a lot of people don't really necessarily genuinely giving thanks for it, genuinely. And I know earlier on, we started off with Juliana saying it's all about thanks. It's all about thanks, and we hear it a whole lot. But do we really mean it? Do we really mean that we're grateful for something? Do we really mean it? So, Juliana, back to you again. And so, like, did you talk to your friends about Thanksgiving, like what they're gonna do and have or travel?
I know that
You don't have to call anybody's name if you want.
I know that a lot of my friends are like going to like have kind of like a big party kind of thing where like all of their family is gonna come together, like how Mom Two said, how she used to like gather around with family. And
Yes.
I know that they're gonna have like a big kind of feast kind of thing. So That's kind of like all I really know because I didn't really get into detail
Mm-hmm.
with it.
Yeah, I
It's kind
got
of
you. I got you.
yeah.
Yeah. If you were in Jamaica, then you'll talk about maybe a chicken that they will eat, one of the drumsticks you will bite on and chew on the bones. And then you will have some juices and so on. And play around and constantly playing until you sweat, very much sweating. Yeah. No, speaking of reading, like, exposing yourself to reading and getting to understand more about the world that we're living in. Usually around this time, close to Christmas and so on, we usually have books that we read. And it was a time when I used to sit with my sister and we used to read a lot of little stories. Um, Judy, do you think families are doing that in the US during Thanksgiving where they sit cozily because it's almost winter and read?
I would love that. And I think in any household that they do that, it's a blessing that they have that opportunity because the technology is really addictive. And it's funny because the cell phone is small, so it's very easy to take around. And I saw something somewhere where they say, oh, it's called a cell phone because it's like a cell, it's like a prison that keeps you locked into it, and I thought that was a very interesting concept. But technology, TV, things like this, you have to intentionally separate yourself from. I remember when I was a kid, then, we would play games. There were lots of games and lots of books around the house that people could sit and read. They used to read to us, which was really nice. And then there's music and there's conversation. But the reading was definitely, I mean, in those quiet moments, there was always little places in the house where you could find yourself by yourself and draw about whatever maybe you read. It's just, you have to be at peace and in a quiet place and in a conducive space for that kind of expression, and I feel like with the hustle and bustle that we have, we tend to not have an opportunity to just rest. And resting now is happening in front of the television. So we figure, oh, when it's time to relax, I'm going to sit down and just passively receive information that somebody else is giving me. It's just gotten so easy to do that because it takes work to read. It takes a lot of time, processing of the brain, the eyes, your imagination, because you have to imagine what it is that you're reading and the description. And it's just like we've gotten, a lot of people have gotten so lazy that they don't want to put in the effort to actually read and really enjoy it. But there's nothing more fulfilling than reading a good book, and I think people have forgotten that. So my family happens to be avid readers. We have I mean, you guys, we have so many books here that we have to even buy more bookshelves because we have lots of books, and the books are definitely fulfilling intellectually. And I think it's something we have to hold on very tight to maintain in our families, that tradition of reading and relaxing, literally reading and relaxing
I
together.
know Juliana is reading a book. No, she's finishing up. She was sharing with me. What's the title of the book you're reading now, Juliana?
I think it's called Down to Earth.
Down to Earth. What is it about?
It's kind of about an alien that kind of landed into this guy's backyard, and so he doesn't want to just like leave her there, so he's trying to teach her how to be an earthling, which is what she calls them.
Mm-hmm.
And so she wants to kind of fit in to like the earthling vibe of Earth. So
Oh, okay. And I know you're a series lover. You really love series books. Yeah, tell us just a little bit about the previous series that you were reading.
the previous series, she has met some friends and she's actually told them about how she's an alien.
Mm-hmm.
And
No,
so
what's the name of the book series before you started reading this one?
um I don't think I remember it.
Don't you remember? I bought you 12 books of them.
Oh, um, Bean and Evie.
Yes.
Uh, like Even Bean or Bean and Eve or something.
Yeah. Even bean, I think. I think it's even beans. Yeah.
That
Good.
sounded weird. So I was like,
Yeah. Of course. Yeah, we encourage reading a lot. I'm just finishing up. There's a book from Harari, Yuval Harari, and that is Homo Deus. And I read Sapiens recently. Oh man, there's some political ones that I read too. It's really, really fulfilling to read and to dissect the ideas around people, historians and different people who are thinking about the future, while using the past and the present to navigate what's going to happen in 50 years from now, or 100 years from now, or 500 years from now. It's fascinating. Fascinating stuff. Maybe we could do that, many of us out there in TV land, we could do that around this time, especially for people who are living alone, to dive into a book, not just sitting around Netflix, not to bash Netflix, because I learned a lot from some of the documentaries and series on Netflix, but also to incorporate some reading instead of staring at a screen for 8 hours. You could sit there to watch 8 episodes of something for 8 hours, or multiply 45 minutes times 8. It's very captivating, and it will trap you into that cell, as Judy said. All right. So Judy, any advice during the Thanksgiving season? And then I'm gonna ask Juliana for advice for young people, because they're gonna be running around and eating at that table, Juliana. Any advice for people in general around this time, Thanksgiving going into the end of year?
Well, Thanksgiving really is an opportunity not only to be grateful for your food, but for your family, but also for all the people whose lives has touched yours and that you have touched, because it's an opportunity to help others and to touch their lives in positive ways. And I would definitely say avoid the technology if you can. Spend time with your family. Time is so valuable, you can't get it back. And maybe sometimes you feel like there are conflicts and disagreements, but all in all, if you think about it, the positive always outweighs the negative in your relationships. And if you think about it, you'll find all the wonderful things that make them the people that you love so much. And you want to really enjoy every moment that you have with family. Play games. I mean, play Scrabble, play what is it? What is that other one when you have to reach, Juliana? What is it? Um,
Hurricane?
no, I don't
Twister?
remember.
Twister.
Twister. That's so much fun. Yes. And listen to music and sing together and cook together, and just spend time together and really love it, because life takes you in a direction where you just work, 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 and you wonder where the time went. So you really need to make time to love each other and to be grateful for each other. So that's what I would suggest. And of course, I wish everybody a wonderful Thanksgiving who celebrates. And even if you don't, I want you to have a really nice time being grateful and thankful for who you are and the people that love you and that you love.
Juliana? Yes.
I want to agree with mom too on like most of those topics. And also I kind of feel like I help out too much, you know, sometimes. So I kind of want like other kids around my age to kind of want to like help out a whole lot, because once once like the time goes by and like it goes by really fast. And once the time goes by and like everybody like goes away in that context, um like I kind of want to like remember the times that I've had. And so I kind of want like other people to remember and not just be like, oh man, I forgot to spend that time with them, you know?
Okay, very good. Yeah. So spend time so that when it passes, you can have some good memories, especially with your grandparents. It's a funny thing, leaving you with this thought, everybody. How we lock away our grandparents in homes instead of spending time with them. We lose so much tradition in America, or in other countries too, that tend to lock away our grandparents in homes instead of having them around, spending time with them, learning from them, wisdom especially, from our grandparents instead of having them in homes locked away and playing with other old people. They could be contributing to young people's lives in our homes. That's a thought for Thanksgiving, to be thankful and keeping your grandparents around so you can actually pass on some traditions, baking cakes, cooking food. They're very good at that. And spending time having young people, grandkids on their lap, reading stories to them. That's a plus. It's a free babysitter. A free, if you think about it. But grandparents are the ones who actually pass on traditions. And if we don't have them around, where's the tradition going? Thank you so much for listening to us and sharing with us on EduTalk. I hope you guys have a wonderful Thanksgiving and be thankful, be grateful, dig deep in your heart, find the thankfulness in there, bring it out in terms of action. I love action because words mean 1,000 words. Sorry, a picture is worth 1,000 words. But imagine if that picture is a 3D image with you and your people at a table, and you are actually laughing for the right reasons. Okay, have a great time. We'll see you next week with another edition of EduTalk, and we wish you all the best. Have a great rest of your week, everybody. Bye bye. Take care.